And I'm leaving the trig point now. There is the odd pole around to give you sort of a general idea where you're going. Just seen a couple of cyclists, mountain bikers you have to call them. Took a picture of that lovely tree, and there's some sheep sheltering over there. The wind's picking up a bit. I think I'm going to be okay. I think I'm glad I've done this today because the weather is on the change. So I'm walking. What I want to do, I want to skirt round that hill there and then make my way back. And what would be nice would be to come back down through the Coombe again. But it would also be nice to go past our Foxton house, which I think is open to the public again. If you remember, I took lots and lots of images of it when it was not derelict, but it was unoccupied. Probably not that long, maybe a year, could be 2 years. And the deer were gathering in the garden, and I was able to get loads and loads of images of that place on the outside, the gardens, the outside of the house. I was able to do all that. Plus there was the barn, the walled garden as well. Lots and lots of features that would have been there when Wordsworth stayed there. I know he wasn't there for very long, 1 or 2 years I think. But of course they were seen, Coleridge and him were seen as possible, like dissenters, if you like. They were seen as a type of political threat, because of their poetry and their writings and the things they used to think about and discuss. Like even now, people, well, if you are a Muslim and you're Islamic, and you're, believe in Islamic State and all that, they're getting curbed. But then you see, the thing is with them, they haven't progressed. I'm sure their religion wouldn't want them butchering people and using power and control in a violent way to get the respect of the people. And that's why they're being curbed, because of their violence. The ones that are peaceful tend to get elected as mayors, MPs. We just hope that those sort of people stay like that, not violent. Those sort of times, we should be progressing as a human race, which they reckon we might have been in the past, but a long time ago. We haven't changed a lot in our intellect. Obviously, we've got different religions, different prejudices, different cultural environments, and all sorts of things like that influence us. But basically, the brain is the brain. You're given it to think with. And like I say, we all vary. English people vary so much. But there is an underlying thread that we all believe in. Sort of, that we don't go around chopping people's heads off and that. Although I think in the past, obviously with our empire days, we were very brutal. And slavery and all that. But we were evolving very well. I'm very proud of us in many ways. And we're getting better. I mean, we're still progressing, with more equality between the sexes, for women, for people of different multicultural races, colour, age. I feel very privileged to have been born in this country, because I had a good education, not in the early days so much. I went to the States school system, and it was very elitist when I was in my younger years. So if you didn't get into that group or those type of schools, then you were left behind. You had to fight for your education. You know, I had to work very hard without the background that others were given. You know, people that still went to Eton, there were the grammar school system, that trained people in their brain to be elitist and very, very confident, and set up for life, some of them, of course, because of power and wealth. But I do feel privileged that I did have the opportunity for education, and I've got 3 degrees and 2 professional qualifications. And I was doing a higher degree. I was doing a doctorate. But in the end, I must admit, I never got any funding. It would have been hard for me to complete. You got 6 years to do it in. But to be quite honest, it was getting a bit repetitive. The particular thing I was doing seemed very much like my MSc. I didn't feel I was progressing much. But a lot of it was to do with money. I couldn't afford the fees. I mean, I only did a couple of months, and that was £900. You know, just for a couple of months, you know. Hello, fancy meeting you here. Are you having a nice time? So yeah, so going back to education, so I feel very lucky, and I think the people before my generation appreciated education, because you had to fight before it became free, and for everyone up to 15, 16, you know, people used to go to night school. It wasn't the thing for working class people to go to university again. So I do feel proud of my country in many ways. I did have opportunities. And then we went through a phase where people weren't appreciating it. But countries like China, Africa, India were appreciating education and were working very hard at it. Now I might have to go back in a minute, because I'll tell you why. I'm not going downhill, and that cloud's looking a little bit dodgy. I don't particularly want to go down, you see. I don't mind going round. So this is Sheila's reflective walk. I wanted to get to this point. I can see a path over there. I can see a path. I don't really want to go down, you see. Because I don't want to really go down there. So let me have a look. Is there a way across? I suppose a lot of people think this. Yeah, there is. I can see a path. I'm going across here now. I'm going to skirt round, because that's just going to take me down to West Quantock Head, where Georgia got married, down there. And you can see that the weather is on the turn, as they say. I'm going to join that big path down there. Like I say, it will be wobbly. I've got a stick in one hand. I've got a bag full of goodies on my back. And I'm walking over bumpy ground. So, you know, what happens, this is me doing a video, and it's bound to be bumpy. Whether they're stiller, I think if I had one on my head, I don't know how it would work with doing the audio though. That looks a bit derelict, doesn't it, that bit? Desolate. It's creeping in behind me. We're expecting storms late afternoon. So I need to start making my way on the turn now, which is what I'm doing. But I don't want to go right down the bottom doing it. I want to have view from up here. Right then, over and out for a minute while I take some photos. This is Sheila, the 17th of August 2016, on a walk on the Quantock Hills.